Hi, I'm Marco from Coffee. Now, iced coffee season is upon us and I wanted to show you my favourite recipe. The first thing I do is I always make a beautiful espresso, double espresso, and I put that aside and start to let it cool down a little bit. Now, there's no recipe for this drink because I use the glass that I'm going to fill as the measure. So the first thing I do is I put half the glass I'm going to use full of milk. And this should go back into itself by the time the ice and the coffee and everything else is in there. Now for this I'm going to use a Boston shaker, which is the glass one and the metal bottom. And I'm going to add a little bit of ice, but this ice is going to stay in the jug. I'm not going to end up putting this into the glass at the end. So the first thing I'm going to do is pour the milk into the ice. Then I'm going to put in the coffee so that gets nice and cold. Now to sweeten it, I'm going to use a little bit of honey, just a dash. And then there's the secret ingredient, is I'm going to put a little pinch of salt. My girlfriend showed me this drink and now I use it all the time. And that little bit of salt turns it into like a salted caramel latte. Now pour all your ingredients into the Boston shaker and give it a very short, sharp shake just to dissolve the salt. No more than that. Take the shaker apart, put that aside. Now I'm going to put some ice into a glass, some nice fresh ice, fill it up about that much. Now I'm going to take a strainer and pour that in, and there should be no wastage. You should just fill it up to the top. Now that nice bit of foam is coming out, so I'm going to be patient and let that come out. Then I'm going to find a straw and put that in. Caramel iced latte. If you haven't got a blender or a shaker, this is the other way you can do the caramel iced latte. So take your fresh espresso that you've just made, add the ingredients that you want to dissolve, like the honey and the salt. Get them in there and give them a really good stir. Make sure that they're really well incorporated into the espresso. You want this, you're going to pour this in on the top. So while that cools a little bit, I'm going to add ice to my glass. Again, the recipe is irrelevant because you're going to use the glass you're going to use. A little bit more. And now I'm going to fill it up about 3/4 with milk. A little bit more. And then take the ingredients that are all dissolved together and pour them nicely on the top. Try and pour it onto an ice cube to try and cool it all down before it hits the milk. Add a straw gently, and that's your salted caramel iced latte.